So I think we've got too many forward-thinking midfielders and not enough of the Endo, McAllister, Bajcetic type. So for me, I'd sacrifice a midfielder from an attacking perspective to bring in a midfielder with a defensive mindset if we needed to free up a space in the squad. And for me, the first person out the door would be Curtis Jones. I can't lie to you, he'd be the first one out the door. Although that is a homegrown spot, so it is nice having homegrown players around. But for me, if we were to bring in a defensive midfielder, then yes, I think we need to move on a midfielder or two. The disrespect on Jones, it's called having an opinion. If you're going to play the childish, like nobody's allowed to say anything negative ever, then just fuck off, in all honesty, because I'm not dealing with children. You know, we're here having a conversation, and not everybody at Liverpool Football Club is amazing. I hate to break that news to you, mate. Some of us feel that some players aren't pulling their weight, and some of us feel that others are brilliant, and then there's everybody in the middle. It's not disrespectful to have an opinion. My opinion is that Curtis Jones hasn't been good enough, and he had one bright spell, and then he's reverted back, and he has an injury to contend with, and do you know what? I'm going to put it to the chat. I think that's the fairest way. So I'm going to put it to the chat, and the question is Jones good enough to play regularly at Liverpool? Yes or no? And then we'll see what the majority of people think. If the majority of people agree with you, happy days. If the majority of people agree with me, happy days. But it's always best to get a consensus on these things, because we all have favourites, we all have players we like, we all have players that we don't think are pulling their weight, and personal opinion is just that, personal opinion. Are we talking about if he's on form or not? Because knowing Curtis, he's kind of up and down. That's the whole point. Is Curtis Jones has been in and around the first team now for, what, 4 or 5 years? Has he shown a level of consistency that makes you think he's going to be in the starting 11 the majority of the time? For me, the answer is no. Have I seen spells from Curtis that show he's at that level? Absolutely. There's been times where Curtis Jones has been phenomenal, been really important to the counter press. But I don't think he's consistent enough, and we need consistency. We don't need players who we don't know what we're going to get when we drop them in. I'd rather have a solid 7 out of 10 every week than somebody who can be a 6 and a 9 out of 10, if you get me. I'd rather have that balanced player that I know what I'm going to get. Jones is a jack of all trades, master of none. That's probably my thoughts as well. And look, let's not forget as well, he has an ongoing injury that'll have to be managed throughout his career as well. So there is that to contend with. And I've no intention of shitting on Curtis Jones. But, you know, we were having a conversation about a midfielder. Somebody asked, would we have to move one on? And I got to the conversation and said, look, if it was down to me, I'd move Jones on. I think Jones' situation can be the same as Darwin, and probably Slock and unlock him in a way that he can be consistent. Well, to be fair, Jones has been around longer. And I think I wouldn't consider him like Darwin. I think if Darwin put everything together, you've got one of the best strikers in the world. I don't see Jones, if he puts everything together at his very best, being even one of the best 25 midfielders in the Premier League, personally. But again, it's about squad places. Can Curtis Jones stay in the Liverpool squad and do a job? Yes, of course he can. But I'd rather have people that I know are going to be in the starting 11 most weeks, and then supplement that with some changes. I'd never ever want to see Curtis Jones playing in the number 6 position again. Let's give him a chance to develop himself. He's had lots of time. Like, opportunities and time haven't been what held Curtis Jones back, let's be honest. Like, he's what now, 24? He's not been short of opportunities for me. It's just never been consistent enough. One week you look at him and he looks like Steven Gerrard regen, and another day you look at him and he looks like, I don't know, Anthony Letalak or somebody that just steals a living. Jones struck that wonder goal against Everton, but a lot to live up to. I mean, you're not giving somebody a 5-year career for one goal, but Tyler Morton would replace Jones' homegrown place in the squad, said Philip. Yeah, so where are we actually on Tyler Morton? That's a really interesting one, because for me, Tyler Morton has always looked good on loan. Always looked like he's got a touch of class about him. But is he ready? Can he really make that step to the first team? I have to say I'm unsure on this one, but I'd love him to, because I do really appreciate that he's gone out on loan for 2 years, always given his best, grafted hard, showed that he's durable, and put in some very good performances, particularly for Hull this year. So it wouldn't surprise me if Arne Slot was going to have a look at him in pre-season at the very least. I don't understand the Jones hate. Why is it hate when you just don't think someone's good enough? Why is it? Am I calling him a prick? You know, am I calling him out for any of his personal beliefs? No, we're talking about football. And there's too many soft arses that think any criticism is hate. And I put Marcus Rashford in that category as well, by the way. He's going off social medias and reminding United fans that we're all together. Yeah, but you've been horrendous, mate. And United fans calling you out is fair enough because you haven't delivered and you've been given a new deal. It's not hate for criticising somebody. Stop being so soft. It baffles me. Because if you go out into the real world with that attitude of offence to everything, it's not going to last well for you. You know, the real world's a tough place. And Curtis Jones is getting judged on his footballing ability and nothing else here. And we've opened up a poll. We've given people a chance to have their say. It's not hate. So can we stop with that nonsense? Just because you say something critical of somebody, it's not hate. Boxed Will, thank you again, mate, for being with us as a member for 9 months. Jones is one of our more frustrating players. 2-3 great performances, then he drops off for the next month. And that's my point. It's all about consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And it's no good having a player, like you said, that comes in, plays great for a few weeks, and then falls off the edge of a cliff. That's not going to win us a league title. 38 game season's a long season. We need that consistency. You're absolutely correct, Craig. It's just one of my bugbears, Mark. You know, we're here as a fan channel to talk about performances and what we think is good and bad at a football club. And sometimes if you say something about somebody else likes, they call it hate. It's just not hate, though. You know, hate is really getting personal and judging them on non-footballing ability and stuff. And we've never, ever done that as a channel. But I don't think Curtis Jones has been consistent enough. Hardly soft, it's a figure of speech. Yeah, use better speech. And it is soft, Alex. And it isn't just this one thing, mate. Every day people come in, cry arson about hate on players when we say somebody had a bad game. So it is soft. And again, you're free to disagree, Alex, but I'm also entitled to my opinion, mate. Right, so we asked you guys, is Jones good enough to play regularly for Liverpool Football Club? We've left it running in the background. We're about 750 odd votes, and 62% of people say no, Jones isn't good enough to play regularly for Liverpool. 38% of people say he is. So, yeah, you can see the division anyway. So to go back to my earlier comment to the gentleman who was saying about Jones being outstanding, I don't think he is. But you can see it isn't all totally one-sided. Like, yes, more people were on my side of that debate, but it's not a huge number. Just, nearly 2/3 of people. So I think the feeling is that he isn't good enough. And certainly on a lot of the fan forums I read, there is more people than not that think Curtis Jones has been given long enough. Craig, Jones is still young, but he's got potential to play at Liverpool for years to come. He is still relatively young, yes. He's 23, heading for 24. But it's a mixture of everything. So if you said to me, Craig, does Curtis Jones have the tools to make it at Liverpool? I'd say yes. But it isn't just about that. It's about the availability. It's about the consistency. As somebody said before, you can't have somebody that's great for a month and then goes back. He has to develop that consistency. So I'd have no issues, and I'm fully expecting him to be in the squad next season. But I tell you one thing, if he doesn't show up next season and really push on, I don't think there can even be a debate anymore. Because at that point, you're heading for somebody who's 24, nearly 25, going to the peak of their career. And if he's not doing it at that age, with the injury concern, then I think we need to have a real conversation about it.